Hello, everybody, and welcome to day one of the 3-day Hashimoto's Energy Reboot Challenge. Super excited to be here with you guys. I just want to make sure that you are actually hearing me because I have hooked up my microphone for a better audio quality. So let me just see if I can hear myself and if I'm actually being live. If anybody is, excuse me, jumping on in the meantime, please say hi in the comments. Let me know who's here and we can go ahead and get started. I'm very excited for this day one. Let me just see. I'm going to go into my group. I'm going to go see if I can see myself live and most importantly, that I can hear me. So give me just 1 second. I can hear me. Yes, perfect. I hear myself, I can see myself, and I can see the comments, and that's all that I need. Oops, let me just move this. Okay, perfect, wonderful. So, everybody, so excited. This 3-day challenge. I just wanted to really bring this information to you guys before the end of the year so that you have something in your pocket that you can take away right off the gate in 2025. Super excited for that. I see some people are hopping on here. Say hi in the comments and let me know who's here. There's going to be engagement prices, and this is going to be a back and forth. This is going to be us doing the work together. Okay, so let me know who's coming on here, and I'd be happy. So thank you for being here, everybody. Whether you watch this in the replays or live, thank you so much for coming on here and taking your time out of your busy schedules. I know it's before the holiday activities and it's crazy for some, myself included, but you're taking the time to yourself and I'm so happy that you did. So let me know in the comments who's ready for Christmas. Let me know in the comments if you're all set, almost done, or if you still have some ways to go. I consider myself almost done, so I'm actually quite happy about that. I do want to be mindful about your time here and throughout the 3 days, and I will try to keep those sessions under an hour. Okay, so hello everybody. I see that some people are hopping on here. Wonderful. So I'll try to keep these sessions under an hour, but for those of you who know me, you know that I sometimes take off on a little bit of a passionate and also compassionate rant, and I get sidetracked. So I do that sometimes. However, what I notice it when that happens, when I get carried away, often other people will actually get breakthroughs, which is the whole purpose of this challenge. So let me know in the comments if you have any breakthroughs throughout the sessions. I would love to hear that. Okay, so before we go into the material, I really want to just set a few guidelines first. And most of all, I want you to get excited about what's to come. And then I will also introduce myself a little bit, and then we can go from there. Okay, so this challenge that you have signed up for is hands down one of the most valued events that I run because it delivers breakthroughs. It really does. It delivers breakthroughs for a lot of women, clarity, support, and motivation. All of these things. I have had many women like you before going through the 3 days with huge aha moments, and not only that, but they felt motivated to actually put steps into place because now they finally understand where they can start their journey, which is amazing. But that only happens if you commit yourself and if you engage. So it's 2 ways. I can sit here and deliver, and I will deliver my heart out. That's always what I do. I give the best of my best during those 3 days. But your responsibility is to engage as well. That makes it so much more fun for me, and it helps you to get the breakthroughs. if you start to engage. Okay, so that is really key, and that is what you signed up for, right? So this challenge, I will say, is not just another dry webinar, okay, that you might or might have not attended in the past. So it's not one of those webinars where I will guide you through a slideshow with surface level information. This challenge is a little bit different. It's an event. And this event consists of 3 full-fledged masterclasses to the level of what I teach inside my program. Because my goal is to get you fired up for a life that is enjoyable for you, because you feel that you are in the middle of it. Okay? You feel you're in charge. You feel that this is your life and you are enjoying it, and you don't feel like life is passing you by. You might be feeling like that right now, but I want you to feel the opposite, right? I want you to feel alive. And that is why I created those 3 masterclasses as an event. This is why you're going to see me here on stage, on screen, talking to you, sharing my information, and I would love it if you comment and engage with me as well. So before we continue and dive into the material, I just quickly wanted to introduce myself as well, because there is a number of women in here that have been with me for many, many years. But there's also brand new women in here, which I'm so happy that you're joining us. So my name is Cordula Marshall. I am a certified holistic nutritionist. I went to the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. The reason why I went to nutrition school is because I have lived with Hashimoto's for at least 15 years. That is just what I'm thinking, but I'm thinking that I've had it many, many, many years before. So I have lived experience. I'm originally from Germany, but I've been living in Canada with my family for 22 years. So, it's been a while. So I live here in Canada with my family. I have a dog, I have 2 cats, I have 2 daughters. They're both teenagers. And when those 2 girls were about the age of 2 and 3.5, I had my, I would say, breakdown in my Hashimoto's journey. I was really fatigued, brain fogged. I had adult acne. I was unable to hold a job. I was depressed. I couldn't focus. To a point where I couldn't really gather my thoughts properly anymore in order to build sentences that made sense in my second language. And I just felt so tired. I couldn't do anything. And I went from doctor to doctor to doctor, endocrinologist, all sort of specialists that did all sorts of testing for me, and everything always came back normal, right? So my thyroid levels, I was medicated, I was being put on Synthroid, everything came back normal, and I just felt horrible. And I really couldn't get the help that I needed from anyone. And I always knew intuitively that there must be something I can do on a daily basis in order to get my body back on track. And so for some reason, I gravitated towards nutrition and like a holistic approach, because that is how I grew up in Germany. And so that is why I signed up for nutrition school. And during those 2 years, I really understood so much. I started implementing a lot of things. Some of them I will teach you today. And I started to see changes in my body. At first slowly, but then more rapidly. And until I hit a point where I actually put my own Hashimoto's in remission. And we talk about this a little bit later. And so this is me. Then I have this lived experience, of course. And then I stepped into coaching and teaching and supporting other Hashimoto's women. And I've been in clinical practice now for 6 years almost. So this is a little bit of a background on me. So my goal here is to really help you step out of the fatigue, give you the understanding what's happening in your body, and so that you can really start to also feel passionate about your life, feel that you're in charge, you feel excited to make changes, and step out of it, right? This is what I want for you so that we can create a framework of action steps you can take for you to create a path to remission. Okay, so let me know in the comments if this is what you're excited about, if this is what you're looking for. I would love to hear. Okay, so this challenge is really not a quick fix, band-aid solution information session, so to speak. It's a little bit more than that. Because if honestly, if I were to give you a slew of things to do, if I would just hit you with a whole list of things to do's, supplements to take, foods to cut out, I would be doing you a massive disservice. Why? Because I would assume that everything that I tell you works for everybody and everybody is the same and everything works at the same level as it does for everyone, which is simply not true. Because it's not true because we are all individuals. And there's not one singular protocol that anybody can share with you that's going to work with everybody in the world with Hashimoto's. That would only tell you that I'm about to reveal the magic pill to you. If I were to do that, if I would give you the list of things to do, which is not true. There is no such thing as a magic pill, right? Then you would go out there with this whole list of things that I'm sharing with you. You would do these things. Maybe you would do them right. Maybe you would do them wrong. Maybe you would do them consistently, maybe not. Maybe some things didn't work for you. You would have to do it in a different way, a different setup, different strategy. Then they don't work for you, and then you lose trust again, right? Like so many times before. And this is what I do not want. This challenge here is a 3-day reconnecting you with the root causes and the main areas of focus in your body, which, when addressed in the right way consistently, will not only give you relief very quickly, but they will also set you up for a road to recovery and a road to remission. I am giving you a framework. I am giving you foundational information. I'm going to give you true information that sits in science and lived experience, and I will tell you how you can get there too. But I will not give you just a number of things to do. Okay? So say yes in the comments if that's what you really want. You really want to get to a place where you understand what's happening, and then you understand the root causes, and then you understand which steps you can put forward in order to realign your body with health. Say yes in the comments if that's what you want, because that's what you get. Okay, so in this world of quick solutions to every problem with the least amount of effort, I'll say, right? So we are being sold a lot of things from a lot of different sources, whether that's antibiotics, whether that is weight loss drugs, whether that is a pill for every ill, or even a supplement for every ill, or eliminating foods for life. And it all works. So that's the thing. Whatever you do, it all works for a little bit until it doesn't. Until it doesn't. And I really want you to become aware of that. Over the many years that I've been now practicing and living this Hashimoto's disease on my own, I have seen that women get stuck in this zone because they don't know how to make foundation changes. So I really want you to understand that when we're starting to put band-aid approaches on our health, on our systems, they all work for a little bit, but then they don't. And why is that? I will tell you why in a second, and this is where we're going from then on forward. I'm going to tell you why, I'm going to give you solutions, and I'm going to tell you exactly how that comes together. So before I do that though, I just want to quickly give you a little bit of rundown on how the challenge is going to work before I even go further into the material. To entice you guys to do the work, because it is a challenge after all, I have decided to give out engagement prices. So here is what you will have to do in order to qualify for those. So the first thing, of course, is I want you to engage. I want you to engage in the comments, whether you watch it live or in the replays. I want you to engage. The more you engage, the higher your chances are. Every day, there's going to be a homework thread here in the group, and you will have to do all of the homework and post it under the homework thread in the group. So post what you're doing and post your aha moments, post anything. So if you do that every day, that is enough to qualify for one of the prices, which is a $50. Give me 1 second. There's just something. Oops. Give me 1 second. I just have a weird alert on my computer. That something is wrong. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you can still hear me. Because I don't know if you can. I just got a really, really strange, really strange notification on my computer, but I think you can. Yes, I think everything is okay. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so the more you engage, the higher the chances are that you can win the $50 Whole Foods gift card or any grocery store of your choice. Okay, so this is number one. If you do all of that every day, and in addition to that, also post on your social media, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, about this workshop or about the challenge. And if you are in addition booking in your free 30-minute breakthrough call with me, which I'm offering to anybody in this challenge, you will be eligible to win a full scholarship to my Hashimoto's Fatigue Solution program. I'm super excited to give out one full scholarship to my foundation program. I will share more about this opportunity at a later point, but I just wanted to give you the heads up, right? That's an amazing price that I'm so happy to be able to share with one of you here in this challenge. Okay, so do the homework and engage with me. Okay, so let's get started, okay? So who's excited? Let me know. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want to review autoimmune with you from a 30,000-foot overview. The reason why is so that you understand everything that follows in the next few days, and I want you so that everything starts to make sense to you. Fact is that more and more women are being inflicted with an autoimmune, a chronic inflammatory disease. It is really, really sad, right? It's really, really sad. And there's so many reasons why, and I don't want to go into them because that'll be another full session. But the problem is that conventional medicine, the system that is currently out there, cannot help us because they're not being taught to deal with chronic disease. And it's not their fault, and they're not being the bad guys. It's just that they don't know how. They have been taught in a system that includes 4 weeks of nutrition instructions during medical school on how to find a symptom and then try to find the appropriate band-aid to cover that symptoms, mostly with pharmaceutical medication. Okay, and that is, again, that is not because they're bad people, that's only because that's what they're being taught. So let's not get into why the whole medical system has been set up like this. That's not our, problem, so to speak, right now. Let's just focus on how to get out of it. Okay, so because let's face it, conventional medicine is just not equipped to help us conquer this kind of systemic inflammation. Right? So I want you to listen up here when I say systemic. Okay, so did you notice the keyword that I used, systemic? So I want you to write this down. Okay, because systemic is the key word here. It's a whole body approach. It's systemic inflammation that shows in every part of your body to a certain extent. You might feel that your thyroid is failing you and falling apart on you, and you start to zone in on your thyroid foods, right? Or foods that you shouldn't be taking for thyroid, Hashimoto's, or for thyroid health, and foods that you should be taking for thyroid health. Or you might be zoning in on supplements for thyroid health, and that is all fair and that's all fine. However, the emphasis here is your immune system. It's your immune system gone haywire, and the breakdown of your glands, your tissues, or the functions of particular areas that are affected by it, by that breakdown, are those glands, those tissues, and those functions that have been the weakest link in your body to begin with. So the solution that you are being offered most of the time is that you're being medicated with thyroid medication, hormone supplement replacement, and that's fine. It brings your thyroid back on track and brings your levels back in check. And people or practitioners expect you to feel better. Then you don't feel better. Or they can't quite get it right, and they can't really get the thyroid to a level where it needs to be. And the next solution is to take out your thyroid, and then symptoms go away. Right? That is the thought. But I want you to think again. Is that really solving the problem? Right? If we're taking the whole gland out, is it really? Is it just a gland problem? I think you know the answer to that one. It's not solving the problem. Because what will happen is the inflammation that is still in your body will show up in the body, even if you take out the gland. And it'll show up in the next weakest link in your body. And there's so many stories out there that you can see about that. And it makes me really sad because people are not being taught and educated around this, and they're taking out glands and organs, and they're not dealing with the inflammation. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if you were aware of this concept, if that is something new. So what I'm saying is, while supporting these areas like your thyroid locally and with a focused approach is very helpful, but the real recovery is to be helping your immune system to regain its sharpness, right? Because it has lost the ability to differ between friend and foe. And that includes your thyroid tissue and your thyroid function. But it also includes foods. So now let's move into the number one root cause trigger to systemic inflammation. The root cause of where the inflammation is stemming from, one of the biggest ones, it's the gut. Okay? So let's get into it and let's learn, let's implement. Who's ready? Let me know in the comments. Give me hands up. And remember what I just said. Your immune system has lost the sharpness of differentiating between friend and foe, including foods. Okay? So it always starts with food. When people are not seeing results in the conventional medicine world, they are realizing there's something I need to do with nutrition, but they don't know what exactly. So then they research and then they start to find information. And oftentimes, more often than 90% of the times, they are being told to cut out certain foods. Let me know if you have been either told, have read, or believe that cutting out foods is the most important thing to do in order to get better with Hashis and in order to heal Hashis. Comment, yes, that's me, if you have. Or let me know if you have ever done a food sensitivity test before. If you have, give me hands up. And then this food sensitivity test came back flagging not just gluten, dairy, and eggs, for example, but also a whole variety of vegetables and fruit, like a massive amount of foods that are now to be cut out, eliminated, avoided in order for you to get better or back to normal with Hashimoto's for life. That can be very detrimental, overwhelming, debilitating, right? Now, my question is to you, are all of these foods bad for you because you have Hashimoto's? Now you start to hate on your Hashimoto's because your Hashimoto's is leading you to having to give up your favorite foods, right? Or is it your immune system that has lost its edge? That puts it in a whole different perspective, right? The biggest part of your immune system, if we were to look at it, sits inside your gut. So this is where gut health comes in. This is why we are doing day 1 today. We're stepping away from the mindset of eliminating, fearing, you're looking at a surface level information. We're going deeper. The biggest part of your immune system sits inside your gut. So now I want you to take out your workbook and start taking notes. Okay? If you don't have your workbook yet, comment workbook and I'll send it to you. If you truly want to get into a state of energy and remission, you need to bring down the inflammatory response in your body, period. On a daily basis. You have to, and you have to do that from a root cause approach. And the most straightforward approach that brings you honestly the best bang for your buck is starting with your gut health. It can really boost you up to the very next level, and then you take it from there. There are 2 components to your immune system inside your gut, which I want to go through with you, which you'll find in the workbook. These 2 concepts you'll have to understand so that you know what you're doing when you're attempting gut healing. Number 1, gut lining or intestinal lining. Intestinal lining that separates the inside of your intestine from the bloodstream. I want you to listen up though. Is it really the inside of your body? Or is it the outside of your body? So when we're talking about the intestinal tract, it's a tube that starts with your mouth and it ends all the way back, down with your bum. And when you think about it, it's an open tube. There's always, stuff coming in because you breathe and you have your mouth open, you eat and you drink all the time. So the inside of your intestinal tract is actually the external environment. I'm saying that because it is a very vulnerable environment and it needs a lot of protection because you don't want everything that comes into your intestinal tract to enter your bloodstream. Because once it's in your bloodstream, it is, and it's not good for you, it can really cause you harm. And that is what your body doesn't want. Your body wants to keep you safe. So it has put certain measures in place to keep you safe. Number one is the gut lining, right? So the gut lining, interestingly enough, is only one cellular layer thick. It's really thin when you think about it, and that's because of absorption, right? You want to allow your body to be able to absorb as much nutrients as it can for good health. Also, I want to mention that the size of this gut lining is massive. So if you were to take all of the cells out of your intestinal tract and you spread them out, it would actually cover an entire tennis court. Yes, that's huge. There's a huge amount of cells there. And along those cells of your gut lining, your body has now stationed the army, thousands and thousands of immune cells, T helper cells, mast cells, and macrophages. So many different ones, a whole army of them stationed along the gut lining. Because, like I said, it's such a vulnerable environment. And what is their job? Those immune cells are constantly surveying what is happening on the gut lining. Because they know it's so important and they need to really understand who is allowed to come, which molecules are allowed to come in to enter the bloodstream or stay out. It's their biggest job. So they're literally the bouncers, right? Keeping stuff out and allowing stuff in. So I want you to keep that in mind. The other part of the gut lining is what they call microvilli. Okay, so microvilli, they are like little finger-like protrusions that float inside the intestinal tract to increase the surface space for absorption purposes. So there's a lot of absorption going on in the intestinal, in the small intestine, along the lining, in combination with your own innate immune system. So why am I sharing this with you? Because I'm about to share with you what is causing your gut to break down and what is causing you to start to have food intolerances and a whole slew of other digestive issues that lead to symptoms. And these two things are important to understand so that the solutions make sense and you can easily implement them. Okay? Give me 1 second. I'm just going to have some water here. So, the breakdown of your microvilli, which has been seen in a term called leaky gut, intestinal permeability, right? So your intestinal lining is losing its integrity. The breakdown of those microvilli, which is an integral part of absorption of nutrients, which are losing their function, it's losing its function, which means you become nutrient deficient. So this should be a huge aha moment for you, because this is important to understand for those of you who believe or are eating really well and still you're feeling sluggish and still you have no energy and still you're experiencing joint pain and all of the symptoms. And you don't know why, you don't understand why. Because one of the reasons is that your absorption is stunted. You get nutrient deficient regardless of how well you eat because your microvilli are not set up properly anymore. They have suffered. They can't absorb. In celiac disease, for example, those finger-like protrusions are actually almost non-existent. That's because the body's actually, that is the body's attacking that part versus the thyroid. So they honestly look like little tiny stubs for them. It's really, really sad to see. So this, in addition to your own innate immune cells that are stationed along the side of, along the gut lining, becoming weary and confused, is causing what they call leaky gut or intestinal permeability. Those two things in combination. Let me know in the comments, does that make sense? Is that clarifying to you a little bit of how there is the connection to inflammation? Now, when the leaky gut intestinal permeability is happening, meaning that there's like protein junctions between each cell that lose their integrity and bigger molecules come into the bloodstream, are being absorbed, your immune system can't handle that properly anymore. Absorption rate is low. Those particles come in, they cause another immune reaction by those cells that are actually in the bloodstream, and they say, whoa, wait a second, you guys don't belong here. So then you're starting to react to specific foods because your whole gut has become out of integrity. So in your workbook, I want you to jot down, leaky gut is not a diagnosis. So it's not really a syndrome. It's a symptom. It's a symptom of the breakdown of your gut integrity. It's a condition in which protein junctions of the cell lining inside of the small intestine become loose and allowing larger molecules to enter the bloodstream, which then can cause reactions. So you really need to create a long-lasting gut environment. And in order to do that, you really have to break the vicious cycle of inflammation triggering. So if you go to the next page in your workbook, I have posted a picture of a bunch of root cause triggers that can cause inflammation. Take a look at the root cause cycle of inflammation in your gut that can cause leaky gut. So that can include processed food consumption. And when I say processed, I don't mean junk food. I mean packaged foods. I mean lab-made foods. I mean anything but whole foods. Okay? Stress and trauma, infections, toxin exposure, antibiotics, low stomach acid. All of these things are triggers to leaky gut syndrome, amongst a whole array of different triggers, but those are the most prominent ones. But what I want you to take away from this most of all is everyone with an autoimmune disease has, hands down, intestinal permeability to a certain extent. You can find that in literature. You can find that if you talk to people, there's even tests for leaky gut. It's just a given. But the good news is that your gut lining actually regenerates itself every 5 to 7 days. Every 5 to 7 days. So think about the impact you can have on supporting your immune system by being able to help rejuvenate it. Rejuvenation of your gut lining can really help to lead you onto the path to having energy, less brain fog, and recovery and remission. Number 1, part 1 of gut health. Okay, let me know in the comments if you're with me. Let me know if you already had some aha moments, or if things resonate with you. Let me know. So we are moving on into part 2 of gut health for autoimmune. You'll also find that in your workbook. If you don't have it, comment workbook. So the second area of focus is your gut microbiome. Okay, so we talked a lot about the gut lining, so the physical structure of it, which is situated in the small intestine. But now we are moving down the tract a little bit into your colon, which is the home of trillions of gut bacteria. Too many to count, a vast amount. Now, for me personally, I absolutely love talking about the gut microbiome. It's honestly something that I nerd out on all the time. There's so much to learn, and it's utterly fascinating to me, I'll say. And it really is still in its infancy, pretty young research. And there's so much information coming our way that can be so relevant in speeding up our own health journey. It's just really exciting. But for the purpose of staying here on time, I'll just keep it to a few facts with you to keep it clear and concise. Okay, but still for you to get really good takeaways here. Okay, so let me know how this is resonating with you. So to let you know, the gut microbiome is 90% microbes, bacteria, yeast, fungi, and only 10% human DNA. It's incredible. All of those microbes have multiple tasks and beneficial interactions with one another for us humans. It's fascinating to me to see that we are literally run by bacteria, not human DNA, in our gut. They are keeping us healthy. So we need to make sure that we're keeping them healthy as well. And that is especially true for us with autoimmune. Why? Because typically for us with autoimmune, this diverse microbiome that should be so diverse has been decimated to such imbalanced proportions of beneficial versus pathogenic bacteria. To such an extent that a lot of pathogenic bacteria are starting to thrive, and they can cause additional inflammation by just spewing out inflammatory metabolites into the whole system, right? So there's a vast imbalance for us with an autoimmune. And there's different triggers and root causes, which we'll talk a little bit about in a moment. But this imbalance is called dysbiosis. That is the medical term for it. And the dysbiosis can have really severe effects on us, right? It can lead to such things as candida overgrowth, SIBO, bloating, gas, severe constipation, stomach pains, but also more systemic, such as joint pain, brain fog, fatigue, you name it, right? So can you imagine this microbiome upset in combination with intestinal permeability, leaky gut? So those two immune systems that you have situated in your gut becoming out of balance to such an extent, can you imagine the negative effect on our overall health, energy, pain, and inflammation ongoingly? Let me know in the comments if I painted this picture vividly enough for you to truly feel how it can affect you. When I first learned about this, it was an eye-opener, a game changer. I'm like, oh my God, why is nobody talking about that? Comment yes if you feel the same way about this. Let me know. Talk to me here. Anybody, whether you're live or watching this on a replay. Yeah, don't let me hang in here. I'm just I'm doing my best, and I'm hoping that you are also feeling the energy and the information is valuable for you. Okay, so let's go back to the workbook. There is some fill in the blanks, and I want to help you with this. So the three main root causes of an imbalanced gut microbiome, okay, so now we're talking about little triggers that can cause your microbiome to get out of whack, the pathogenic bacteria taken over, are, number one, again, processed foods, not junk food, but lab-made, packaged, anything but whole foods, and antibiotic use, okay? Processed foods and antibiotic foods use. Number two, a consistent lack of prebiotic and probiotic foods. And number three, stress and gut infections that have been going on for too long without eradicating them. Those three things. So I want you to notice here how many of those root causes or root cause triggers are similar between leaky gut syndrome and dysbiosis, right? They're very similar. And that is good news. That is good news because this will give you something to work with, right? You can actually make a difference in both areas, which is amazing. That's what we want. Okay, so now you have a really good understanding of the first major root cause issue, gut health, that is keeping you stuck in fatigue, that is keeping you stuck in brain fog and your Hashimoto symptoms. Okay, so we just talked about those two things. Now, let's see what you can do. All right, so now you have the information. Now let's go into practical strategic approaches. Let me know. Are you ready? Let's do this. So the biggest goal, the biggest goal long term is to be able to include as many nutrients as possible. Yes, you want to do the exact opposite of what everyone is telling you. Everyone is telling you to cutting out foods, all the foods for life, whether that is an AIP diet, whether that is a strict paleo diet, whether that is excluding all of your foods on your food intolerance test, all of it. Honestly, I'm not quite sure as to why practitioners are still pushing this. I think it's only because it gives women a quick relief, because it removes the instant triggers that is triggering your immune system, because your immune system has started to react to these things. And I think, that really helps these people temporarily. But what you'll see is that these women get stuck, and then it helps for a little bit, and then it doesn't help anymore. And why is that? That is because you're not addressing the immune system. You're not helping your immune system to become more resilient, to get back on track. You're not helping your gut microbiome. You're not helping your intestine permeability. So you'll always stay in this state of having to remove everything. And in the end, it doesn't help because you are undernourishing your immune system, because you have issues. You have absorption issues. The little bit of food that you're eating, which is not enough to fuel healing processes in your body, it doesn't give you the fundamental proteins, anti-inflammatory chemicals to help rejuvenate cells that are suffering. We need more nutrients than anybody else, because We need to recover, we need to rebuild. We not only need to maintain our health, we need to rebuild our health. So we need more. But at the same time, because our absorption rate is so low, of that little food that we're getting, we're not even absorbing a good chunk of it. So we are undernourishing our cells so much that at one point, this Band-Aid approach is not helping anymore. And symptoms swing back full force. I see it over and over and over again. Let me know in the comments if you have experienced that or if that makes sense. You can tell that I'm getting really passionate about this because I see it all the time, and I see the frustration and the overwhelm out there, and it makes me really sad to hear. So you want to do the exact opposite of what everybody tells you, right? So to not undernourish the cells, right? You need to rebuild healthy cells, such as your gut lining, and you don't want to deprive your gut microbiome of nutrients. There is one caveat, though, that is gluten. So gluten is a huge topic in itself, and I'm not going to go into as to why. But it makes sense to remove gluten for a while completely. Okay? So same thing with dairy. There's also certain reasons as to why I'm not going to cover here. It's going to take too long. And most of all, sugar. So caveat is, yes, gluten, dairy, and sugar, processed sugar, need to go for gut healing in the beginning. I agree with removing all 3 items to allow your gut to heal. But just so you know, that is not the end all be all. Okay? That is just the beginning. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're starting to include as many nutrients as possible in a safe way. So how do you do that? Right? How do you do that? So I will share with you a powerful strategy that I have adopted from one of the leading experts in therapeutic nutrition, and his name is Dr. William Li. You can look him up. He's amazing. His method is called 5x5x5 method, and I call mine the 3x3x3 method. So let me explain. I want you to pull up a spreadsheet, and I want you to create 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. The first column that you're going to be putting in, you name, you call proteins and fats. Proteins and healthy fats. The second category is you're putting in fibers or vegetables. Okay, so maybe just vegetables, that's easier. So proteins and healthy fats, then vegetables, and then the third category you put in fruit. Then I want you to fill up these columns as much as you can. Put all of the foods in that you love, regardless of whether you are reacting to them or not. Put them in. Proteins, fats, vegetables, fruit. Be creative. Come up with these things that you haven't tried yet. Maybe some new foods or haven't had for a while. And so then, starting today, I want you to pick 3 foods out of each category to have 3 times within your 3 meals. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So which means for breakfast, you choose 3 proteins or healthy fats, 3 vegetables, and 3 fruit. Same thing for your lunch and for your dinner. 3x3x3. Okay? So this is the first thing, right? I want you to start to feel happy about eating again. Okay? And I want you to increase diversity and variety. But that's not where it stops, because you might be reacting to them. Okay? So in addition to this, I want you to start to help your body break down the foods so that absorption becomes easier. The number one thing you can do for that is to eat less raw foods. Raw foods use up a lot of digestive energy. You have to have a lot of healthy gut bacteria that are helping you to break down fibers, which you most likely don't have if you react. And they're very hard to digest. So in the beginning, when you are dealing with, when you're starting your health journey, or even if you have been dealing with this for a while and you want to, just again, help your body a little bit out in that moment in time, you can do the same thing. Eat less raw foods and focus on steaming, broiling, cooking your vegetables and fruits. Both. Just make soups or have like a compote or steam your veggies so that they're softer. Don't worry about nutrients, and if they lose nutrients during the cooking process, it doesn't matter. What you still get the nutrients, but in a more digestible way, right? That is number 2. So really break down those foods. Number 3, start taking some digestive enzymes with every meal. Okay, so these enzymes will help you to further break down the foods and digest the foods in your system. So what you're doing now is what you're doing with these 3 things is the following. Number 1, you are diversifying and increasing your nutrient density to help support your immune system, rejuvenate healthy cells along your gut lining, and you are nourishing your second immune system, which is your microbiome, by giving it fiber. It's your second immune system in your gut. So you're doing these things. But because you have digestive issues, like we all do with Hashimoto's, you are helping to pre-digest the food for your body. You are making it easier for your body so that absorption is made so much easier with the help of preparing foods in the right way and with the help of only one supplement. Okay? So those are 3 simple, easy, straightforward steps everybody can take to help support the fundamental issues of gut, health issues that we have with Hashimoto's. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense to everybody and if that is something that you can do. Let me know. I hope it is, because this will be your homework for today. Okay? So, to summarize, and it's only 7:57 my time, so I kept under the hour. I'm pretty happy with that. So to summarize day 1 homework, so start jotting down the 3x3x3 method. Follow it over the course of the next 3 days, starting today, and add a digestive enzyme and follow the food preparation that I suggested. Okay? That's your homework. So today, I think you have learned a lot, right? Let me know in the comments if you feel overwhelmed, confused, or if you feel excited to get started and have more clarity around the gut health Hashimoto's inflammation connection. I hope you do. And if you don't, reach out. You can always book in your 30-minute free breakthrough call with me throughout the whole session. The whole 3 days. If there's any questions ever coming up, just book yourself in. You can get so much more clarification. If you do want to book in a breakthrough call, comment breakthrough in the comments and I'll send you my calendar link. Okay? And before I let you go, I encourage everybody to do the homework for the engagement price, right? And again, I encourage everybody to book in a 30-minute breakthrough session with me where we can really run through your issues with gut health and for you to get a set of eyes on what's keeping you stuck specifically. Okay? I think that alone is worth more than any other appointment that you have had with any other practitioner in the past 6 months. I think I can confidently say that. And it also brings you so much closer to the scholarship win, of course, which I'm so excited about. Okay, so the homework thread will go up shortly. If you still need the workbook, comment workbook. If you want to book in your breakthrough call, comment breakthrough, and I will reach out to you. And this is it for day 1, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Let me know how things are going, how homework is going. Let's do the work together for the next 3 days. Let's see some breakthroughs. And I will see you again tomorrow for day 2. All right. Have a good night, everybody.